That's the reason he mentioned that. Yeah, you document.
Have you met Mrs. Indira Verma, our chairperson?
So the trustee of the
Bahai.
and treasurer of the center.
कैसी ठीक है काफी शौक बताऊंगी हो गया
Hi, Salma. Hi.
After a long time. How are you? Well, mashallah.
Maybe 94 now.
Don't worry. There is an Englishman in UK who is a coach for Scotland at the age of 100.
That's right. So I have something to look up.
Yes, yes. And Scott, Scott, you know, is Scott. By the age of 100, he is coaching people how to live.
So that's
And send them. Oh, Mama.
Very nice. I had about 22 old students who are doctors in different professions. So they all come and they run the camp for the underprivileged. You must come one year. You'd love it.
Where is it?
We have it January 30th every year.
In Delhi?
Yes. This morning I had it.
She came back at 2. And she watched the tennis.
Finals, yes. So,
That's the way to go.
I think so.
That's content के लिए it's a very IC
Yeah.
Talking to Mr. Modi the night before, and Rashtrapati morning, and I said they're saying that there's going to be rain, and about the same time as the Sunset is not so he said, no? So he said, yes. I told you it won't rain. It would rain after, and how?
And it did, 12:40.
Yes.
Or when that Beijing Olympics, the closing ceremony, the Chinese, they sent aircraft for dispersing the clouds, the seeding. So they prevented it. I know.
That's right. They're
At
also
least for
able to
some
make
time.
rain. Yes, okay.
But you know, in Abu Dhabi, it never used to rain.
Yeah.
Now it
But
rains.
because of all the greenery they have planted.
You must celebrate sometimes. Must celebrate sometimes.
Houston. My niece also is.
Houston is better than.
But you'll be happy to know that someone
And he was, when he was in Iran, he went to the British school. And from the British school, he went into the
American system.
So he got 99, 98.
Wow.
Walk over. He escaped. And then one day they caught him in the bathroom, took out a gun on him and said, if you get such good marks at home, we'll shoot you and put you in the dog's kennel. So we took him out, put him in the her life.
Being good, it becomes a.
Oh, actually, yeah. I mean,
But definitely
should not be
better than
getting
South
A plus
Africa.
all the
Houston compared to South Africa, where the security is such a problem.
yes. Yeah. First thing they told me.
Where in Joburg?
Yeah.
Anywhere.
First thing they told me, you have to be home before sunset.
Means that
Yes, South Africa, evenings we can't be out.
And the cars are stolen in just.
उसके लिए भी तो लोगों को appetite और stamina.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the arrival of our chief guest, Her Excellency Srimati Salma Ansari, spouse of the Honorable Vice President of India, we are ready to commence today's function. May I invite Mrs. Ansari on stage. On behalf of the New Delhi chapter of the Sarvodaya International Trust and as managing trustee, I welcome you all to this observance of Martyrs' Day 2017, titled Bapu, the Undying Flame. Mrs. Indira Verma, chairperson, and Dr. A.K. Merchant, trustee, will now felicitate Srimati Salma Ansari.
Thank you.
We are privileged to have as our chief guest a person of the caliber of Mrs. Salma Ansari, who has devoted her life to the cause of underprivileged children and has followed the Gandhian path of truth and righteousness. A lady of great humaneness, Mrs. Ansari has set up a chain of charity educational institutions in the slums and villages of Aligarh, where she had witnessed the squalor of poverty and deprivation and the lack of education for children. She set up the Al-Noor Charitable Trust, which now provides free education to the children from the settlement colonies. The Al-Noor today has over 2,000 students and disseminates non-formal and formal education, with particular attention being given to the education of the girl child. It is well known that Mrs. Ansari has always been a champion for the rights of women at the grassroots level, and she is a person who respects all living beings. Forthright in her views, with the courage of her convictions, she is a social worker who strikes off into new paths, and she certainly carries her heart in her sleeve when she focuses selflessly on community welfare. Thank you, Mrs. Ansari, for being with us today. This evening's function is a collaboration between the Sarvodaya International Trust New Delhi chapter and the India International Center, and I welcome all members present here. I now request Mrs. Salma Ansari to kindly address the audience. Mrs. Ansari.
This is a surprise. I knew that I have to say a few things, but I did not know that it was going to be an address. As far as I'm concerned, it's not an address. It is just few random thoughts that I leave with you. Would you please sit down? I may talk slightly longer. A poet called Iqbal, an Indian poet, who wrote Sare Jahan Se Achha Hindustan Hamara. Of course, the Pakistanis hijacked him and said he's a Pakistani poet, which is all humbug. But anyway, there's a couplet, his couplet which says, हजारों साल नरगिस अपनी बेनूरी पे रोती है, बड़ी मुश्किल से होता है चमन में दीदावर पैदा. It means Nargis, Nargis is a flower which has no light in the eyes. The shape of the flower is like an eye, but it has not the ability to see. And it cries for years and years to be given eyes to see. But it doesn't happen easily. It takes centuries for somebody to be born with such focus and such strength that would give her eyes. In the center of the universe stands a woman with a child. If she's happy, if she's protected, if there is no violence, if there is no negativity around her, her world is peaceful, she's happy, and the child gets all the love that he deserves to grow up. But if the circumstances are different, if there is too much violence and too much hatred in the air, the mother's world goes topsy-turvy. And that affects the fabric of any society that we live in. 250 years of British Raj give this mother made her cry tears of blood. Macaulay told the people in power in UK that this country cannot be in any way ruled unless you cut it at its heart. And its heart is the unity of the love and the togetherness of Muslims and Hindus. If you want to rule the country, that's where you have to hit. And naturally, they wanted to rule us, and that's where they hit us. And Mother India alone, not enough champions around, nobody to hold her hand, cried with pain, cried with despair, cried with this feeling that her honor is being attacked, is being shredded into bits or pieces. Everything that she represented was called trash. And there was nobody to hold her hand. Nobody could stand up and said, enough. Enough. We are not going to take it anymore. But one naked fakir, as Churchill called him, had the guts to stand up and say, no, we will not fight you. We will not hurt you, because we do not want to give pain to anybody. We'll take your pain you give us, and we will make that into a tool to hit you back. Non-violence, which came into being, was Gandhi's dream and lesson to humanity, that if people can kill and destroy and reduce you to the fate worse than animals, you can conquer them, not by reducing yourself into animals, but rising beyond and above and say, okay, fine. You are clapping, so you will hear the sound of the clap. We are going to step out of this loop. We will just receive with dignity, with love, with peace, and with this faith that no matter how many times people have tried to destroy truth, to destroy love, these powers have always won. Throughout history, the murderers, the tyrants, the conquerors have all been defeated. But love and truth has always won. Gandhi's dream was, I feel, we didn't really deserve him. He came and we were not ready for him. Nietzsche's book called Thus Spake Zoroaster. In his preface, he talks about overman, the concept of overman, in which he says there are two types of men. They are men who are happy to be in themselves, happy to lead good life, happy in their own little world. But then once in a while there's a man, overman, whom we call Superman, whom Iqbal called Superman, who goes beyond himself, goes beyond his sense of security and his sense of belonging, and takes humanity a notch higher. And that is Superman. And I think Gandhi fitted that role very well. Quoting again Iqbal says, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. Raise your consciousness, raise your awareness to a point that you can stand before God and He would ask you, what should I do? How should I mold your destiny? The power that Gandhi had, the conviction that he had, the truth that he carried in his heart, the love that he had for humanity made him into a Superman who stood before the might of the British Empire and said, we have our own dignity. We have our own togetherness. We have our own idea of how we want to run our lives. So enough, it's time for you to go. It's a pity that we did not really understand what he was talking about. Because partition, again, injured us so deeply that Indian soul, which was already under attack from the British, the partition of the country was the last straw. And in that pain of partition and